Welcome back, everybody, to the third video on this 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager SE that has been off the road for over 8 years, since 2017 at the latest. So we got the van running. That was actually pretty easy somehow. We got the van driving. Not quite as easy. Had quite the experience with replacing those brake line whack-a-mole, as I like to call it. And now, the moment y'all have been waiting for, and definitely a few comments at the least. Pressure wash the van. Clean it. Please clean it. Let's do it. Let's get right into this. Well, let's see how much of the van survives the pressure washer. Got a feeling we're going to lose some stuff. But it'll give us a good idea of what needs fixed. Well, it's definitely better. It's a different color, that's for sure. Front end looks a lot better. Too bad. This is really too bad right there. Whatever, it'll be fine. Suppose, start with the good side, right? You know, the good side. Yeah, let's start with the good side here. So, you know, exposed a little more rust. Definitely needs a good scrub, and you can see some of this hard stuff here. It needs scrubbed out. I'll come in and I'll scrub this. The paint's actually in really good shape. Color's pretty good. It's just too bad for all of this. Is that like a silver primer, or has it been repainted? See that? Is that primer? I think so. Anyway, we lost a little bit of that. Definitely gonna lose some more here. This is on there hard enough the pressure washer didn't touch it, but you can hear it. Hear it? How crunchy it is. Yeah, look at that. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna start poking away at all this too next. I just want to know what's left. Look at that. It's unfortunate. Both dog legs were technically there until I touched it. Look at that. That's rough. Look at that. However, go over here. Someone been here before. That looks like filler, doesn't it? It's a repair. Long time ago, somebody filled this, it looks like. Yep. There it is over the original paint, and then they painted it. Probably the first spot to rust on the van, if I had to guess, right? There's all that sound deadening foam. Yeah, the door's pretty rough. Yeah, so I think that's the only body work I could find. Otherwise, we come around to this side. Another scuff in this fender. This fender is pretty well shot. Well, not pretty well, the whole thing is. This is holding on, so that'll be okay. Yeah, it's a little rough here. And then somehow, this slider door here is like completely rust-free. I don't understand that. Like, look at the seam. It's perfect. So, yes, the door's been replaced, but you never know. Anyway, here's this dog leg. Ready? I've been waiting for this. And there it goes. Unfortunately, that was going to happen no matter what, but look at that. Whole thing's just rotten. Quickly turning into less of a van, isn't it? Yikes. Saves all the cutting, because it already just removed itself. So what I'll have to do is I'll get the hose and I'll soak these rockers and just kind of wash it out after I kick it in. And then we got over here. Most of this already fell off. It's sitting right there. Look at that. And then all this foam backing. This is all the sound deadening in that quarter. Ooh, that just got really bad, didn't it? That was all paint, technically. That was all that's holding it, though. The hatch is decent. I'm not going to pick at the hatch. But down below the lip here, it's got some rust in it. Now, if a guy got that plastic lower cladding, he could hide that. So, that's a possibility, something we could do. String bean's got that on. I know string bean's got some rust under it. But, yeah. I gotta go in now and kind of poke the rocker. Yeah, like here's a hole. Most of this rocker is actually not too bad, to be honest. It's solid-ish. I mean, I'm sure there's rust on the inside, but it's kind of there. I don't know, how's this one? Worse? This one's got some rust right here. There we go. And it's just full of rust chunks inside of it. There we go. Look at that. It's a shame. This is from sitting in that mud. Most of it. With a bunch of gravel in it. Ooh, that's pretty. That's solid right there. Nice. So we get up to here. Try and blow out. Yeah, we'll wash those out with a hose. Otherwise, there's... Oh, I forgot one spot. I did. And I haven't done the door jambs on the passenger side. I've been meaning to do that. Water coming in here. I gotta take this all off, and I gotta clean that out. It's clogged. But under here, turned out really good too. I did wash this. Yeah, this cleaned up pretty nice. So hopefully it still runs. Yeah, it's pretty bad. See, it's got some silver paint under here. I don't know if that's the paint or the primer. It's got to be the primer, right? I don't know. Yikes. Well, that's what she is. So, 3 of the 4 doors are bad. Both fenders are bad. Rockers are bad. Quarters are bad. The hatch is bad, I would say. You know. But this door's good. It's surprisingly really clean. Paint's in really good shape, though. Oh yeah, and this is loose. Well, here's what I got for it. I got these 2, which are ready to go. They're, in theory, already balanced. They're 260 or 215, 65 15s. And then for the rear, I've got 2 of the same rims, but they had 195s on it, which my dad wants for his car. So I have a set of steels that have some 215 70s. I got to change them. They're in the garage. But this is what we're going with. Recognize those. That'd be the same sort of aluminum wheel that Green Bean had. I had a set of those. I don't remember what I was going to use them for. But, in fact, I bought a set. It had those on it, and then it had the 195s on it. That was the reason I bought the set, is 2 of them were for Dad's car at the time, which we didn't end up using. We got that set of Michelins that are on it right now. And then the other 2 were spares for whatever, string bean, green bean, whatever. So they're going to be used for this. And then I have a set of steels like that. They've got a pair of 215-70s on them. I'm going to take them off of the steels, and I'm going to mount them on the other 2 that I've got. And then Dad will have his wheels ready to go for that, or tires, and then I'll have this full set. And then I think the nicest of the bunch, I'm going to leave on a Steely, I think. And that'll be the full-size spare. I don't know. It's probably not that one. That's the one that was flat. Definitely not that one. That one's pretty rotten, too. Maybe this one. This one doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. I might have a different tire around somewhere too. I'll go look, but I want to use one of the rims, the Steelies, as a full size spare for sure. I'm trying to get rid of some, and then I've got these. This whole set is gone actually, so that's perfect. I don't have to worry about this. I'll go look for somewhere else. Somebody was looking for. A friend of my brother's was like, yeah, I need a set of wheels for my 2005 that I'm going to derby. It's like, and my brother's like, wait, my brother collects minivans. He's got a whole bunch of wheels probably. So he asked me, and I'm like, yeah, I got something I can get rid of. So that'll be taken care of. The wheels are gone. The tires are gone. And then I've got these all out of storage now, which is perfect. So it kind of worked out okay. Actually, it worked out great. So I think that, if you look, yeah, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? That looks a lot better. Well, it took a little bit of work, but look at that. Wow, does that make a difference? Those are pretty decent shape. The rear ones obviously aren't balanced because I just mounted them to it, but I left the weights on the wheels, hoping that maybe it's the wheels that need the weights rather than the tires. But the front should be good and balanced. However, I had one oversight. I forgot that these rims take different lug nuts than the Steelies do. So I was only able to find 3 for each tire. I've got one spare I'm going to take with me tomorrow, and I'll pick up some new lug nuts. I think the right rear's got 4 though, but I'm going to torque these down real quick. I'm going to take it for a quick ride. 3 should be enough. 3 is the minimum required, I would say, on a 5 lug. But that one's got 4. But they're not the nicest rims, but they're perfect for the not nicest van. That makes a huge difference in the look of this thing. And obviously the tires are a lot nicer. I think the front ones are 2018, and these are like, I think they're all like 2018, circa 2018 or so. Which they're a little old, but they're actually in really good shape, which is why I hung on to them. But look at that. That is amazing. All right, getting up to speed here. No shake at 55. No shake at 60. $65 feels good. Tight steering. Needs a sway bar though. Oh, these wheels are balanced nice. No shake at 70. No shake at 75. Fastest this van's gone in a long time. No shake whatsoever. All right, I lucked out there. Good set of junkyard tires and wheels. No shake in the brakes as I'm slowing down. Maybe just a little bit, but not bad. For those old brakes, set them in real good right there. No shakes. Wow. For once, I have a vehicle that I don't have to shake down for 3 months in a row to figure out what the heck is wrong with it. Thank you. You beautiful vehicle. You beautiful, beautiful, beautiful van. Amazing. Well, there's some new tires and wheels. I'll get you guys a good shot of it in the daytime, some good pictures and stuff. But I'm super happy there. I also finished putting the lug nuts on. I'll get some better lug nuts, so. Nice. Oh, that makes my day right there. A lot of work went into that, but wow, did it just pay off. And yes, last episode, we took this thing for a ride. I forgot about the fuel strap, and actually it's still hanging on by one fuel strap, but I looked at it really, really close before I took it out here today. So it'll be all right, but it's got a full tank now, so this is about all the driving. I've already got a strap on order. It should be here by the end of the week, so it'll get a new set of straps and stuff. And I got the power steering pump on order, so you guys will see that later this week. I think it's gonna be cold the rest of this week, so I don't know what we're gonna do. But yeah, we got a lot left to do this episode, I suppose. So, but this thing drives freaking mint. This thing runs and drives great. Definitely one of my nicer driving vehicles. Could use a sway bar though. I definitely see myself putting some miles on this one this summer, especially if it keeps up doing, driving nice. I shouldn't say it, but wow. Today, we got to work on the old Chrysler Grand Voyager. Today, if the rain holds off, if the rain holds off, we have got to do a power steering pump, among other things. It was this Monday or something. The other day I drove it up on the ramps, so just to get ready. And also, I've got some transmission fluid and a filter in there. Those, I believe, are the repair towers for the struts that we're not going to worry about for now. And then up there, I believe there's a power steering pump. And, oh yeah, and fuel tank straps. There's fuel tank straps in there. But to do this, pop the hood. Our power steering pump lives all the way down there. Now, I haven't quite figured out
the best way to do this yet, at least on a 3rd gen. But my thought process is, I think it'll end up being through the bottom. I'm assuming so, right? So let's go take a peek down here. What can we see? And to be fair, I never looked at the lines and verify it was the lines leaking and not the pump. I think I bought lines too. They should be in that mess. But we might as well look, right? Because for it to be flinging fluid all the way up there, it must be the pump, right? Yeah, look at all the fluid everywhere. And I'm thinking there's our axis back up in here. Yeah, look, it's dripping from the front of the pump. Yeah, it's just pouring out. You see it there? It's not coming off the lines off the back. It's coming through the front of the pump. So at least there's some easy access to get at the lines to get them disconnected from this side. And then they're not too bad to get at from this side. I think we can get in there. I'm not worried about the lines. If I can't get at them or can't get the fittings loose, I'll reuse these lines. But I'd like to replace them because that one's they're pretty crusty. I'm not going to lie to you. Those are pretty crusty looking lines. So we probably should replace those. Something else we should think about replacing is this damp looking coolant line, or both of them, going to the rear AC. I don't want to touch them too closely. What happens is, because these chunks of the line are steel here, they rust from under the paint. As you can see, if I bend those lines, they're going to break. Right now they're holding, so we'll leave them alone, but they're damp, so they're not good. But why couldn't they have been made of that? They did the rest of the line that way. Like, come on, guys. That's a very common fail point on 2nd, 3rd, anything with the rear AC, to be honest with you. So, yeah, we'll pull this paint. So see what happens here is it looks like it gets under the paint, and then it holds moisture and stuff, and then it rots it all the way around the paint. From the inside out, I guess, technically, if you want to call it that way. Something else I forgot that we need to do is we need to do that as well. Then, at some point, remove those lines. I was thinking, were we going to actually drop the tank and get those out of the way, or was I just going to ignore that for now? You see how I got the lines run around? We're still using one original, which I do want to deal with at some point here. Anyway, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. I'm adding things to the list too quickly. Our problem child is this and the strap. I guess, yeah, because the strap, we were going to pull both straps. Do we pull the tank and lower it down so then we could get at rerouting the brake lines, maybe? Then I'd have to make another line. I don't know if I want to do that. Anyway, I'm just talking here. So we have to get the pump out. So it looks like we have access to get at the 2 lines there. Now, if we can crawl our way, I'm going to move this soaked mat. I'm trying to see. I think this is our best access right here. So if we remove this cover here, I think that'll give us access to everything. I might have to go get a power steering pump pulley remover tool. I didn't think about that part. I forgot about that. So that's something we might have to do. Let's get a removal tool. Otherwise, it looks accessible-ish, perhaps. So anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll let you know if I find anything interesting. But otherwise, let's get to it. All right, get the cover off here. Got a lot more access here. We can see what's going on here. So, notice here, there's our pump. So we should be able to access all the power steering pump bolts there. I got the belt loosened up by here. I just got to pull it off the pulley. Something else I didn't notice here. It looks like we've got a fresh front main leak on that seal as well. So both of those seals decided, no thanks. And then I've got the pressure line off on the power steering pump right there. So we're looking pretty good there. Should be able to get this thing out of here pretty quickly. I just got to get the low pressure line off. And then there's that little L bracket on the back of the pump. And then it's just the bolts up front here under the pulley. Okay, I got the pump loose. Got everything disconnected from it, except the The filler tube, I forgot before I undid it, so I undid the filler tube from the top. So for now it's free playing, but that doesn't mean anything yet. How do you figure I get that out of there? I see two options here. Get the rest of the bracket out, which requires taking the tensioner off, which isn't really a big deal, but and maybe we can squeak it through here. But if we do that, I think we'll have to pull the harmonic, in which case, why don't we do the front main seal while we're there? That's option A. Option B, I think we can get it out there if we pull the CV. But to pull the CV, we gotta get this tire off and loosen from the strut. I mean, it needs an alignment anyway, and the strut needs replaced anyway. Not that I'm doing the strut now, but it wouldn't really matter all that much. But I think that'll be more difficult. And right now it's technically in alignment, so it's okay. So I don't want to touch it. I think it'll be easiest if we pull the bracket out and then pull the harmonic off. So I think that'll be easiest. So I'll go see if O'Reilly, whichever O'Reilly's got the puller for the power steering pulley, has a front main, and or we'll pick them up at the same place. And then I think that's how I want to do it, is pull it out this way. I think that'll be easiest. And like I said, we have to do the front main anyway. I got him. Pile of parts is growing a little bit. That was a chore, I should say. You're welcome. Now, if only I knew that was bad when I did the alternator, because, well, we had to pull the alternator. I wasn't thinking that alternator bolts to that bracket, so we had to pull him out of the way and get in there and get that bolt back out again. And, you know, I did the battery unhook this time because I'm smarter than I was last time. If you notice here, I still got the hose in here. I got about that far to where I clearanced it so I could get at it. So now we don't have to worry about this, trying to reroute him in here. I'll just see what I'm trying to do here is get that little plastic guy back on. So now he's good to go back where he's supposed to be. So that's still in there. But pumps, like I said, the pump's out. Pump is shot. It was leaking really bad around there. I gotta go get a puller, and where I'm going to get, it's actually one of the closest. I got two O'Reillys that are vaguely the same distance. One of them, luckily, has a pump and the front main in stock. So, is that OEM part number? I think so, right? So that's a OEM pump, dead at 114,000 miles. I think it's due to it sitting, which is the same reason the front main is bad, I think. If you look here, there's like no real buildup of residue. I think that was not leaking when it was parked, and it is leaking now. One of those things where the seals were exposed to, I don't know, whatever elements caused them to harden up, and they're both shot. So we'll have to get him out with a pick and put a new one in, but that's no big deal. As you can see, look at this big axis hole we had now. Not really big. It just barely fit out of there, by the way. I had to undo the bolt to the brake hose fitting so I could move my brake line out of the way. I think that's more just how I bent my line, but that was good. Obviously, we got the idler, our tensioner out of there. See that little bracket right there? That is a 15 mil bolt that goes into the back side of the power steering pump bracket. This guy. He's kind of a pain to get at. That's probably one of the first bolts you put back in to hang this thing by. And then you can bolt it up. But I guess it doesn't really matter, but anyway, he was the last bolt I didn't see. Like, we got the alternator bracket bolts, power steering bolts, harmonic. We can put him back. I think I might clean him up and clean it out, so then you can read the power steering fluid level better, because it's got a bunch of black gunk in the bottom of it. Tensioner, and then all the power steering bolts there. So that's what you got to do to take this out. And here's all the tools I used. That guy with a 15. That guy, I used him to get the return hose to break free off of the pump. Screwdriver was for a clamp. Actually, this is unrelated. I noticed some kind of oil splatter in here. Looks like the clamp was missing from that CV axle, like it rotted off or something. Anyway, I pulled the boot back. The grease is still all in there, so we're all good. So I just put a new clamp on there, so that's all done and saved. We saved that CV. Good thing we caught that. Obviously, we got my 1/4 inch with a 10 mil. I think that was mostly for this guy right here and the reservoir. And then I've got 15 mil socket. I got an 18 mil wrench for all the line nuts. And then I've got a 13 here. I think that was for the brake line. And this bracket right there. I got 115, a flexi. There's a lot of 15 mil bolts. And then I've got a 15 mil, or not a flexi, but a ratcheting. And then I got a non-ratcheting 15 to hold some nuts. Those are unrelated. That was for a different project. I didn't need the nips. I was worried I was going to have to cut the return line. There's the 15, non-ratcheting. I think that's it. That's pretty well all I needed. Just a little bit of time. So she's out. I'm going to go probably clean. I might try get the fittings off of the rack for the lines. And then after that, I'm going to go clean up, go to O'Reilly, pick up the power steering pulley remover, because at the very least I'll get that done tonight and have the new pump ready, because I think it'll get dark by the time I'm back and have everything situated. And the front main seal, might get that put in, might not, but like I said, I'm at least going to go to O'Reilly, get this, that way I get the pump situated. I suppose we go look at our new pump, huh? That was a good time as ever. Come here, mister. It's funny, this was a closeout. I don't remember what brand it was. It was closeout here. Let me read it. I'll read this off screen for you. Famous brand, wholesale closeout. And you know what it is? It's a CarQuest pump. This is from probably the Advance Auto, when they started. They just started closing a bunch of stores, or they just did. I bet you this is part of that. So they got it really dirt cheap, and now they're selling it on Rock Auto. Dirt cheap, but a little more. So I got a brand new CarQuest pump off of Rock Auto. And let me get him out of the box. Does he look like our pump? Sure does. Sure does. I think all these pumps are the same, to be honest. Like first gen, second gen, third. I think they're pretty well all the same. Make sure he's all clocked the same if we aim him the right way. Sure looks good to me. 2 bolts and a bolt. Oh, the one bolt on here. This. Actually, is there 4? Why is there 4? Probably multiple application. No, there's all 4 bolts there. They're all there. I'm trying to remember what the 4th one was for. Was there anything? No, there was nothing in that one for us. But this one down here, was it this one? One of these was really, really hard to get at. You have to use a 3/4 in a long deep well, or a 3/8 in a deep well socket, and you get it in here. You'll know which bolt I'm talking about when you get to it, and you gotta like get it in here and then swivel and get it into place, otherwise you don't have clearance. And then you just break it loose, and then they usually spin out by hand, so you get it with your fingers. But here's our new pump laying in the dirt. Here's our old one, also laying in the dirt. So we'll press this off. Make sure you press it on the right way, or you'll regret it. And then this piece always out, because that's how you pull it off. And that's the piece you have out. I pressed one on backwards one time, and that was not a good day. If you guys remember, you guys might remember that. That was for Blue Van. Yeah. Actually ended up saving that pump. I can't remember what I used it on, but we did end up saving that pump and using it on something. But I think Dad took it to work and put it in the press, and then broke the pulley off of it and got it off that way. But that's what we ended up doing. And I ended up using that for something, like I said. I don't know what, but a little long-winded. There's our new pump. There's our old pump. I got to go get a puller. I got to go get a front main, get those lines off the rack, hopefully, so we can replace the lines. Like I said, I think I got the lines. Yeah, they're in there. And we'll be back at some point here. Well, it's definitely the end of working today. It's starting to rain. I was wondering if that was going to happen. However, I'm putting stuff away. This tensioner pulley is shot. It wobbles, and it's rubbing through the tensioner case. Doesn't make too much noise. Hear that? But it's rubbing on the. I'll see if they have a tensioner pulley too. Otherwise, I think I've got one in stock, a used one that'll be better than that. Otherwise, I'm just cleaning up my mess. I tore down the one cardboard box, laid everything on that. Always keep a couple cardboard boxes around for that. Yeah, I think that's it. It's starting to rain. Still waiting on for that. If you guys, you guys will see this first, and then you'll see this. Still waiting on. I got one paid for. They just got a. It's gonna take a while. All right, we're sitting at 182, 292 in the 94 town and country. Got ourselves a 67010 pump puller, or pulley puller, whatever. Got ourselves 2 jugs of power steering fluid. I got a front main seal, and I also got the tensioner pulley. And we're ready to go. See if this bad boy fires up. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Nice. Okay, I got the power steering pump rebuilt in the garage, and I've got the new pulley on the tensioner there, and I'm getting ready to pull the lines off the power steering. But I was just down underneath it, right? You know, I'm looking at everything. I'm spinning the idler pulley's good, the water pump's good. And I'm looking at this, AC compressor again. And I went to, remember how this was seized before? Look at that. Spins free as can be. Feels good. Feels okay. That might be all right. Might have to think about plugging that back in and trying her out. Might have AC yet. Yeah, that feels good. The clutch feels good. Just, I guess, driving it for a little bit freed it up. So, anyway, I'm going to try to get the lines off, like I said. Once those are off and those are out, we're good to go. Oh, yeah, got the new crank seal in there, if you can see him in there. There, yeah, he's in there. That's all replaced. Good to go. The old seal was hard as can be. And then on the old power steering pump, which I don't have here, what happened is the shaft had gotten rust on it from sitting, and it ripped the old seal apart, which probably also got a little brittle. So it was, that's how she goes. But new pump's ready to go. We'll have that on here in a little bit. In case anybody was wondering why I was so adamant about replacing those lines. So I was trying to cut that line off, you see my cutter, but then I moved the lines and they pretty well just snapped off. That upper one broke off with little effort, and the bottom one didn't take very much either to snap off and start leaking. So my plan is here to get a socket on there and break those loose. Putting the new ones in will be a lot easier. I should be able to spin them in mostly by hand and then get a wrench to tighten them. But I got to get a socket on those and a flexi head and break those loose out of the rack. So that's my plan anyway. The old lines are out over there, so we're committed now. All right, power steering pump's hiding up there now. So we're all ready to go to start putting it back together as the cat rubs on the phone. Hello? 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 What do you want? Hello? Anyway, got the new lines on. They're kind of a pain to get at sometimes. Like I said, getting the old lines off with a deep well socket over there and a flexi head is the play, because you can mostly spin them on by hand, and then you're able to get in there behind that big motor mount in the back. You'll know what I mean if you do it, and just snug them up with this. You can just barely get in there. I'll bring you in here and I'll show you. Oh, I'm doing this for you guys. Okay, almost back here. As you can see, shiny new lines. There they are. So they're up there. But if you can get the wrench, you can get the wrench up here, and then you can get your hand up here, and you can reach over there and you can just snug them down. So it's a lot easier with fresh threads. But they're all in here. This bracket's rotten. I gotta try to get one from U-Pull. Gotta get a few little brackets under here from U-Pull and stuff, that being one, but they'll be okay for now. Anyway, like I said, the pump's up there. The lines are in place. Let's start reassembling this bad boy. Okay, good news. You hear the sound. The power steering system bleeding. Got everything bolted back up here. Power steering system is all in there if I can get down here for you. There she is. She's all up in there. Lines are all in. Everything appears to be tight, I think, for now. So I'm going to get the crank pulley on it while that bleeds. We'll get the old serpentine belt on it. And then I think we'll fire it up, bleed the power steering system, and back it off these ramps. And that should be, at least that for the power steering system, should be all good, as long as it works and everything. But, we'll see. You never know. You never know. But we're looking pretty good so far. Top that off. She's about empty again. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Yell at me if I missed anything. Obviously, I won't know until after the fact, but belt's all on. Here are the coyotes out there. They must get hunting something down. Crank's on, tightened down. Brake line's all in. I think all of the hoses are tight. We'll find out if we get a leaky one, that's for sure. Figure. Listen to that. Yeah, you hear that? Hear that, dog? Don't go over there. They're way, way, way out across the field, out in the ravine. Yeah, they probably got a deer or something, that's for sure. Sure sounds like it anyway. Anyway, we're all hooked up here. Figure. Let's see if she'll start up. Key, if I can reach it. What are we at for mileage? 114.51. Turn that down. Okay. Oh, I hear the pump. Immediately, are we leaking anything? Not immediately. Good sign. She's drinking. Let's take a look. Looking good so far. Nice. Belt's riding the new pulley good. Everything looks okay to me. How's it look to you guys? We're not flinging oil everywhere. Seems good to me. I'm gonna go take off my suit here so I don't, dirty up the seats. Too bad anyway. And we'll back off the ramps, and then we'll turn the wheels and we'll bleed the power steering. Obviously, don't want to bleed it while it's on the ramps. That would not be ideal, I don't think. Yeah, I think she's doing all right. I do see a problem. Hang on. Thought I heard something. Hopefully, caught it in time. I'll show you guys what I see. See this right here? The belt is rubbing through a filler tube. Can't tell if it's rubbed all the way through. Why is that off so far? Is that like... Well, why is that off so far? Like, it's way up there. Shoot. That's not good. That's not good at all. It was caught on the fuel line there. It sawed through it pretty far. I can't tell if it sawed all the way through or not. That's not good. Why is that up so high? I must have that hose twisted weird or something. Yeah, it's twisted up instead of, like, over. Oh, no. It's not leaking, though. And this has got fluid in it. So I think we're okay, because it's not like it's going to hold any pressure, right? I'm going to have to go down and adjust that clamp. Yeah, I thought I heard something weird, kind of grindy. Yep, and that's it. Dang it. Have to add this to the list of things to pull at U-pull next time we're there. Even if this one's not leaking, definitely should go ahead and address that at some point. Dang it. Okay. Well, let's see what we can do about that. Maybe you guys can help me. I need the light anyway. Yeah, so what has happened is I have the hose twisted. Also checking for leaks here. Let's look up there. Everything look okay? I think so. Yeah, so I gotta get in there and reclock that hose. So what's happened, it's clocked wrong and it's pushing it into the belt because the hose is preformed. Whoops, that was a mistake. Okay, see what happened. Sorry for the glossy camera, it's got oil on it. I didn't get it clocked wrong on the pump. On the back firewall, there's a little L drain for the HVAC box. Because I had the hose pulled out of the way, it got caught on top of that and it was wedged up there. And that was what was pushing it into the belt. If you look, you won't be able to see it because of the gloss, but yeah, right dead center of the screen is where the mark is, because that used to sit over on the belt. That was what was causing that. Whoops. That, something worth noting. Be careful how your hose is routed before you start it up. Now we're clear. Let's fire it back up. See if I can help you a little bit there. No, that didn't do anything. How about now? That a little better? Yeah, there we go. All right, take 2. Yeah, that sounds better. There we go. Oh, looks like that's sucked dry. I wonder if it was causing an issue where it couldn't bleed properly either. You know what I mean? Because it must have not been sitting properly. Fill that back up. Proper power steering fluid with a little bit of stop leak for the rack and pinion. I've got a feeling the little rack and pinion seals need some a softening up. Just by the seepage I could see on the boots. So hopefully that'll alleviate that problem. Rebuilt, brand new rack and pinion right there. Brand new, installed, good to go. So it's got an all new power steering system. You know, cleaned out the filler here. We obviously rebuilt that line going down from the filler to the pump. Brand new pump. Pulley's all good to go. New lines. Brand new rack and pinion. New seals. She's mint. We're good to go. I'm gonna get that cover on. I don't see any leaks, so I think we're good in that respect. The front main doesn't seem to be pissing oil everywhere, so I think we're good there. So I'll get the dust cover on here quick. I'll shut it down and get the dust cover on.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
What do you think's gonna happen when I do this? I guess I gotta click that, and then it'll go on. Come on, connect. There we go. Think this has got pressure in it? Doubt it. You never know with 114th thou. I guess I can't click it. I don't know, we just see if it turns on. I don't know. Do that. I mean, I doubt it, but yeah, didn't think so. But there's no reason not to leave it plugged in, I guess. I'll have to try to charge it sometime. Okay, go back to that. Turn some heat on here. Right, I forgot the fan. Fan only works on high. The resistor's bad. Anyway, I'm gonna take it for a quick spin. Just verify everything seems okay, but I think we're good as far as that goes. So I'll see you guys back tomorrow afternoon, and we're gonna get a lot of work done. Tomorrow afternoon it's supposed to be 80 degrees. Almost 80, if not 80 tomorrow. So it'll be a little windy, but boy will it be warm. I'm thinking tomorrow is the day we're gonna scrub this van really good. See how much of that paint's under there, because I don't see any clear coat peel. It's just covered in dirt. All right, that'll do it for tonight. Looking good. Okay. So we're up here. I've done some work on the brake lines. I managed to get that guy, all the lines bent in and clipped into that, so they weren't just hanging here. And then I got the one line that I cut, I pulled it out from the tank here. And I was able to do that because I got 2 shiny new tank straps up there. They look good. And then, while I was up under there as well, I pulled this clip that had no brake lines in it, and I flipped it over. There's the little slots on this side too. They're on both sides of the frame, which is really, really nice actually. So I just put it over here, and this is where I'm going to route the new brake lines. And then they'll be kind of up there proper-ishly. You know, they're secure. The other line is still hanging in there. It didn't look the nicest, but I didn't disturb it. It's still good. I'm waiting on brake line. I got 75 foot coming on Sunday, so I'll get to replacing this one at some point. But it looked okay. It's tolerable. But there, I got that all wrapped in. Tank straps, good. That one was a bit of a pain. Remember, this tank is full of fuel. It's got 20 gallons in it, so that was a bit of a pain, but I got it up there. Here's the only strap that was holding it in. Hello, cat, coming to inspect. That's what was holding that tank up. That's paper thin. So that's a good one right there. That's a good spare. No, that's going in the trash. Otherwise, hello, you're in the shot, Cat. Get up here. Remember that hose we're missing? I got that little guy put in place. Needed a clamp on the line here. But now the charcoal canister, that's all hooked up, so all of our evap systems should work properly. And now I think she's pretty well roadworthy, which is nice. I think that leaves, because I think it's time to really scrub this thing. It's near 80 degrees today. I'm sweating right now. I got t-shirt on. I'm, looking good. It's warm out. It's nice. So, yeah, the only parts are the trans fluid and strut towers, and none of that's important right now. So, yeah, I think we're going to get a Scotch-Brite out, get some soapy water, and we're going to scrub this thing good. Really expose all these dents and dings, and it'll look better than it was. So let's get to work. Here's a good before. After the pressure wash, before the... What do you want? What do you want, Mr. Dilly? What? Yeah, my dirty glove. Enjoy that. Anyway, that's the before. This is going to turn out really nice because the clear coat's all still there. And then I think I'm going to drive it to work on Monday. So I think she's ready, right? We'll see. We'll see. What? 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 Hi. Oh, that's gonna clean up nice. Wow, look at the difference in that. This paint's in really good shape. Wow. Just rinsed it off there. Told you that paint was good. Look at that. Yeah, that's earned a wax, hasn't it? It looks really good when it's wet here. So, but it's coming off. I only had to use like a Scotch-Brite pad or like a scrubbing pad on the plastic bumper. On here it's coming off okay with this strong blend of car wash soap I used, but I gotta go mix some more. And then we'll probably hit the worst part of the vehicle, which is this fender right here. Well, was the hood, but the hood looks really good, so that'll look decent. Work our way across. It gets easier here. We did the hardest part first, inside the roof, but we'll get to that. It's looking really good. This is going to clean up nice. All right, got the first side done. Take a look at that. Aside from the speed holes and the critically engineered body line for improved airflow, it looks pretty good. Hello, cat. You trip me. That looks really good. You definitely still a little bit of dirt in the paint, but a little bit of cleaner wax in the buffing wheel. Make that clean up just fine, I think. Same with the bumper. But I don't think you guys can see it on camera. I can see it in person. But it looks really good. Huge improvement. Got all the way up along the tops of the doors and stuff. Still got to do the roof, but you can't see that from here. And I just hosed it down quick. There's a dent. There's a ripple. There's a dent. There's a dent. Otherwise, there's a dent. A little bit of rust. Big dent. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that's nice. This will take me 2 seconds to scrub, and we'll just work our way around. It's looking really good. Yeah, that turned out great. Like I said, I haven't even waxed it yet. Now it's too nice. We kind of have to address these. But yeah, that paint's in really good shape. I found one spot of clear coat peel. It was right here, if you can see it. I don't know if you can. That's the only spot of clear coat peel I've found on the van. I haven't cleaned the roof yet. I'm gonna do that off camera here next, but that's gonna get the Scotch pad. That's gonna be a lot quicker on the roof. But that's the only spot of clear coat peel I found on it. Yeah, that cleaned up really, really nice. Officially not abandoned anymore. Wind's starting to pick up, the front's starting to move in. Dropped like 10 degrees and the wind picked up. But it's still warm, it's like 60 something out. Yeah, that looks really good. There's the, yeah. I do some work up there yet, but as far as you guys are concerned, she's all cleaned up. Nice. Alright, got the roof all scrubbed off. Also kind of got up under here flushed out, had a bunch of leaves. These were packed. The back ones you take the clips off. However, I did find something of concern. Yeah. That's gonna let water in right there. So what I'm gonna do about that, I think, is hold it up like this and then just goop that full of silicone. So it looks like the little screw thread-on guy, he is falling out. I bet you I got water down in the headliner too. I don't know, we'll go see if I can see water. This side's all tight. Yeah, but that rusted through for some reason. So this is all good. Can we see water in here? Yeah, I can see where it's dripping. So that's not good for it, surely. So I'll have to let that dry. I also got to come up here and I got to glue these down, or otherwise the wind's going to catch them and they're going to rip all the way up. So I'll just add some like trim adhesive there. But what's happened is they've shrunk. So I need to cut this corner piece because the corner piece used to tuck down there. But now that it's shrunk from being old, it's just going to be in the way. Oh, there, fixed. So we'll glue that down. That way it won't blow away on us. And then, yeah, so that one's loose. Why is this whole side of this rack is loose? That's interesting. Yeah. Surely that's good for it. Yeah, I might goop those full of silicone, try to keep water out of them. We don't want water to get in where it doesn't need to. Not that it should, because it shouldn't stand. We shouldn't get standing water, but anything to keep water out will help. Otherwise, I think next, speaking of things and stuff, this is your next problem, or my next problem. This is completely clogged. I know it's clogged because it was holding water, and then I was able to punch one of the drains and it leaked out, but not before it soaked the floor in here, if you guys remember. I think the floor is mostly dry now. I probably poked it enough. No, this side still leaks. As you can see, it's soaked down there again. So anyway, that wiper motor's shot. So we got to pull, well, I guess we don't have to, but we got to pull all this apart so we can take care of that. I'll probably pull the wiper motor out. It does kind of work. I'm going to try clean it up just because I don't have one and I didn't order one yet. But here, I want to unclog that so we can hopefully fix it. Yeah, we do have to take, I forget third gens, the motor's in here. So we got to have that all apart anyway. So that'll be fun. I guess we got to get the hood off, so we'll mark the hood bolts so we know they line up, and we'll get this whole cowling off of here. Yeah, I forget it's all one piece in here on the third gens. So that's fun. That's next on the list. Something else I got to do is I got to scrub the corner of this glass. Still got a bunch of dirt on it. But the van looks really, really good. Just presentable-ish. Alright, she's all disassembled. Found some goodies there. Condos. So what I think is happening, I think water was overflowing that guy, and it was getting into here. And I would think that this should have a drain on the sides here. I don't know, does it? Can you guys tell? You guys tell me. I don't know, I can't really. It doesn't, so what seems to be happening, and I washed it out too and probably added more water to the mess, because that's the intake vent, and so it was overflowing and going in there. See all the dirt? So what had happened is water was getting in there, and like I said, I added a bunch more to it, and it goes down this passenger side, and I bet you this floor is just absolutely soaked now. Yeah, it's even more soaked. But what it also did, and I just realized this, my wiper motor's kind of like it's crappy. Because it was submerged in water, I'm surprised it's not seized. So I'm going to clean it up and we'll see what it looks like when I pull it apart. But the wiper motor sits down in this assembly here, and so I'll have to pull all these bars off. I'll have to unbolt the whole linkage, and then I will pull the end off the motor and just see if we can clean up the contacts and everything. Just see if we can bring it back to life. And then when it doesn't work, we'll have to do all this again. I can plug it in and test it first though. So that's all out. I'm gonna clean up that mouse nest. But we'll have to have this apart again when we go in to do this. So, very good. But it's all apart. And it's all cleaned out. Looks like I washed most of it out. So we should be good to go in that regard. And we also got to replace this guy. I got to go see if I have one of these on the shelf because this guy's shot. Good time to get in at him because I can access him easy right now. Replace this too at some point. Fuel line's shot. Clamp is shot. Might be a good time to do that too while I got really good access to it. What else do I got really good access to? The alternator maybe? Yeah, we've been there, done that. Yeah. So I'll probably do that, and then I'm definitely going to clean all of this off here. Yeah. That needs a good scrubbing. Clean up under here for no good reason, but you know. Maybe clean the top of this intake off too. Back here where it's dusty. How's everything look down there? Almost can get at the plugs. Not that I don't think it needs them, to be honest with you. I mean, we haven't pulled one, I guess, but you know, she'll be fine. Very good. Okay, so here's what happens with these. So you can see he's pretty corroded. There's a burned up contact and everything. And then missing pin. Well, you know where the missing pin is, right? Well, he's in here. So I dug out the little blue connector guy, and now I gotta try get that guy out of that pin, and or what I'll probably end up doing if I can find the right gauge wire. And maybe I'm gonna go dig around in my spare connectors. Maybe I have one of these, but otherwise I want to cut the connector off, get it out of this plug, and repin it. The other ones are crusty, but they're all still there. So I don't know if some dielectric grease would help, because it might raise the resistance and then burn the thing out, but at least they won't rot like that. So otherwise, they hook on these little tabs here, and then they are a pain, and they pull out and they bend these tabs, so just make sure you bend the tabs back. I'm gonna work on that a little bit, but that's why heat don't work only on one setting, only one good pin. Well, I guess think it's gonna work. Got that spliced on. My cable's a little long, so it's got that beautiful bend to it, right on the solder joint, so you know that'll last. But I don't know, let's see if it works. You got 5, got 3, got 2, and we got 1. We only have 1 when we go to 2. So we got low and high for the rear. What I think is we're gonna have to wiggle that thing around, because we got all that rust on there, because I didn't clean the pins. So I'll clean that up, but I think that's gonna work for now. I'll get some E-tape and I'll cover that up too. But that'll do for now. Long term, I'm going to have to go to the junkyard and get a connector, and probably another one of these at some point. So, but hey, that'll work for now. So I had to go dig out another connector, and it's got the wrong gauge wire on it, but I got it in there. At least it's the right connector, so it has full contact with the pin. So what was happening is the other one would kind of work if I wiggled it, but it would get hot because of resistance. So right now we're sitting on 4. Off. 1. Spins up. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got 1, 2. So currently that's working. Good, and that battery's good, because this sat here with the dome lights on and everything. That switch is getting better too, by the way. Look at that. Getting better. Almost, yeah. It's getting better. It's getting unsticky. it's healing. It was like eggplant did the same thing until I used it a bit. So, there, we fixed something. That took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but it's all fixed. So, 114056. Have to note that down too. There we go. We fixed that. Good to go. Yeah, this wiper motor had water. This is all moist. It's got sitting rust in it. Bristles are all, or brushes are all, these aren't the brushes, but you know, the little magnet guys are all rusty. Brushes, you know, crusty looking. And then this guy's actually kind of seized here. It looks like it was stripping the gear. I could see some plastic shavings I knocked off. So I'm going to try free this up first. That's the first thing we got to do is free this gear up. And then we'll go in and we'll clean all the contacts up here. And I think it might do something then. So we'll try it anyway. I got nothing else to do tonight. Okay. So it's a little dark out, but I got lubricated this whole system up here, and then I cleaned off all the magnets and stuff and resealed that, got all the water out. Let's see if it does anything. Turn that off. It's better than it was. Maybe let that spin for a little bit. Look at that. It's a little loud, but hey, guess what? It's working. Is it? Oh, there's high speed. Yeah, I think we're good. It's a little noisy, but I think it works. And then does it go to park? Yes, it does. Park function works. Look at that. Saved. We have remanufactured the original wiper motor. Who knows how long that'll last, but hey, it's doing something now. And I'll let it run and clean itself up here. So now do I gamble and put it all back together? I think I'm gonna. Yeah, that's a lot better than it was. I think. Yeah, it also doesn't have a load, but I guess we'll see. Well, I can't stop it, so yeah, it's got a little bit of power to it anyway. Nice. That thing sounds so bad. Intermittent wipers all seem to work too. That's all functioning properly. Nice. Yeah, intermittents are all working. Good. So, sprayer, that hit. The sprayer motor doesn't work, but it triggers the washer or the wiper. Nice. Very good. All right. That'll do it for tonight. I'm going to unplug that, bring that inside. I'll rebuild the whole wiper assembly tomorrow morning, but I'm going to set the hood. I just had the hood on it along with the cowling up here, so I'll click that back in. The only thing holding the hood will be the latch, but hey, the wiper motor is working now. I don't think it wants to, but it is. New day, new week. The wiper assembly is back in. I don't know if I got it lined up just right as far as the arms go. I think I've got the linkage set right, but let's see if it works with the arms on it. I've got new wiper blades on it. All right, what are we thinking here? Nice. Loud as heck. A little sluggish, but it works. That is so annoyingly loud. The sprayer does not work. Let's see if I got a sprayer motor. Alright, well, cool. Mission success, I suppose. This wiper's kind of hanging. Look at how this wiper's not like folding like it should. These are my mystery wipers I had. Oh, you know what it is? I don't think this arm is going down all the way. Yeah, this one's just fine. See that? See how loose it is? Something funny here. There we go. There we go. That's a little better. Oh, you know what it is? This old broken piece of plastic was stuck in it. Now we're good. Nice. So, as far as the little wiper sprayer motor, he's down here. Up under. You see him? There he is. And he doesn't look good, does he?
And that is the abrupt end to this hour-and-a-half long episode on our 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager SE. Not only does it run and drive now it at least doesn't look completely abandoned. I think that cleaned up really well. If it wasn't for the rust, the paint is actually in really, really, really good shape. So it shined up pretty nice. I am super happy with how it turned out. We got that power steering pump done. We at least got the wiper assembly unclogged and we got the wiper motor working, among other things. Next episode, which I do not know right now if it'll be next week or if I'm going to jump back to another project and then come back to it. But next episode, look forward to us ripping the entire interior out. We're going to rip the entire dash out. We're going to get the HVAC box cleaned out, get all of the meese nests out of there, kind of try clean up the interior. It smells really bad. We need to try fix that. And that's going to be a very long process over multiple episodes here. But next episode, we're going to get the interior tore down, hopefully get it all cleaned up back together. I believe we got some professional rust repair coming up that some of you have spotted in older photos over the summer, because this was, it's still early April at the time of this recording. It is now September 4th at 10:05 p.m. Finally getting around to getting this uploaded. So that's the timeline. I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all next time.